Today for my Valentine Goose channel, I'm going to talk about my childhood. So, when I was a kid, my parents bought me, like not when I was a kid, when I was a baby, like when I was first born, my parents bought a crib, changing table, and wardrobe that all matched. And it was cherry wood, built very well. And the thing is, I still have the wardrobe cabinet, and I still use it upstairs. It's my main dresser. It has all my clothes in it. It's lasted, well, over half a century, and I still use it every single day. And it's held up wonderfully. It's still got the original finish. I probably should get a picture of it, but I'm downstairs in my kitchen. But one thing I had also attached to my crib was this toy. And I'm going to show it to you. I got to hold it together though. So this is a clown, and you crank up the clown, and it plays Brahms' Lullaby. And like I said, this was on my crib, and I've had it my whole life. And for some reason, this never got thrown out with any toys I've ever had. It's always been kept. And I remember the event that happened, but I don't remember like how old I was. I want to say I was somewhere between the ages of 8 and 12. But what happened is, on the back of this, you can see there's a peg that dials in. Also, the head falls off. So that's one thing that's broken on it. And there's a little peg on this, and the peg, let me show you this. Oh, this ain't the right, yeah, this is the right one. So this is the music box that was on the back of it. And the music box sat like this, and the peg screwed in. And I remember when I was a kid, I over-tightened it, and I snapped the shaft off. So that meant the music box was worthless, because the shaft had been sheared off. There was nothing to screw this to, and also the screw was stuck in the hole. Now, again, given that, you know, at my young age, this got thrown in a drawer, and it's just always been around. And I don't know if my mom kept it, or if I kept it, or if it had some sentimental value. But, you know, I have a reputation that I can fix anything. And if you saw some of my earlier Valentine Goose videos, I fixed my transmission with 3 clip-on wire snips, you know, wire clamps. And I actually got my transmission working without the proper Honda parts. But so this is just something that's always been sitting around, and I've just never tried to fix it. It just seemed too delicate because it's a music box. And that proved to be true. So this music box is a vintage music box. Of course, we're talking about early 60s, very early 60s. So this music box came from Japan, and it's a Yokiwa music box. And if you look at it, where's the camera on here? It's all metal parts. And that was very hard to find. So I've been searching. First I searched on the internet for one of these clown music boxes for a crib. Could not find one. And I mean, I've been searching since the dawn of the internet. I remember being on AOL when AOL was all there was, searching for this. And, you know, maybe a couple years go by and I'd see this in a drawer and I'd be like, huh, what if I could find another one? I might search for a couple days, couldn't find it. Searches are getting better. So like the last month or two, I was searching my brains out. I could not find one of these clowns. So I turned my idea to look for one of these vintage music boxes. And I figured even if I can't find Brahms' Lullaby, I could find another one and either change out the cylinder or do something along that line. So I did find one, and I was like super surprised I found one. It's a newer one though, and this is the one I took apart. And if you look closely at this one, you'll see see that white? There's plastic pieces on it, so that meant that's a newer one. Because the older ones were quality, it's all metal. But looking at them, and I did try lots of things. So I just decided the easiest thing, because it's just 2 screws, I thought I would change out the spring, because the spring is what has the shaft on it. And everything was going well, and I got it back together, and I'm not sure what happened. But the spring let loose, and the drum just spun like crazy. I mean, it was a blur. And what happened was, if you look, it broke tines off the music part. Now, the music part on this has offset screws. You can see one screw is lower than the other one. So I could not, I tried changing that, but it didn't match up. This has got level screws and they're further apart. It just didn't match up. I couldn't get it to play right. So I was really bummed because, again, I have a reputation. I can fix anything. So I did some more online searching. I thought, well, maybe I can just find a whole new music box that actually plays Brahms, and then I don't have to change anything on it. Well, I mean, here's the broken piece I changed out. Here's the drum from the one I bought, and I think it plays the song from, oh, you know, do 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 do. I can't think of the name of that. The one where they play all the tricks on each other. Anyway, from the 70s. So, yeah, it was a more recent box, had plastic parts, and it totally destroyed my other one. So, I'm trying step 3. And I went to Menards, of all places. And luckily, they had, in their very smallest drawer, in the very back, they had the size screw that I need to do what I wanted to try here. So I'm going to try this, and I'm going to make another video with the finished product, and I'll stitch the two together so you can see them. But I am going to take one more attempt to fix the music box that I've had since the day I was born, and it's nearly 60 years old now. So we'll see if I can fix this, and if my idea will work. And this is going to be risky because, I mean, if this doesn't work, I don't know what I'm going to do. So let me get the cat out of here, and I'm going to give it a shot. Okay, I'm back. There she be. Now the clamp goes this way, so it clamps up underneath like this. And then you crank the clown. And of course it's wound down now because I didn't want to wind it up too tight. Because I figured you want to see what I did to fix this. And it's not the cleanest job in the world, but after 50 years, I'm just amazed this even still works. So I'm unwinding the clown now. I'm being very careful because I don't want to break the shaft off again like I did when I was 10 years old. So what I did was, I found an old Sankyo box that still played Brahms' Lullaby. Now Sankyo is contemporary to the box that was on the back here before. It's from the early 60s. It plays Brahms' Lullaby. It's from Japan. It's got a lot of the same parts as the other one. In fact, I tried one of these before when I was trying to replace the drum and the springs in the other one, but went with the original parts. So then on the front, you know, there's two screws that set those in. Of course, I didn't have these screws, so I went to Menards and I got the closest thing to them. And they probably could use like a little dab of white out on them. But then I had to recess those in because they were sticking out too far and the clown was scraping on them. And likewise, this hole in the center has some screws rubbing on it, so I enlarged it. I don't have a Dremel. I have a high-speed rotary tool that I don't even know where I got it, but I think I got it for free somewhere, so I don't complain. But I took the actual crank off. So there's the winding mechanism. Normally in a jewelry box that just has a key on it. Well, I couldn't get the shaft to go on that was originally in the back of the clown. I couldn't get that to go on here. And I don't know if the threads are different or if the threads are damaged, because I did use one of those tools to remove the bolt from the inside. So I don't know what was damaged or if it was just a mismatch, but I could not get it to go back on there. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I dremeled out the back of the clown a little bit, and I put the actual crank on the back and put a couple screws in it. So I had to mess with that a little bit because the screws did stick out and were scraping. I got a loose foot here. Yep. I'll probably have to put some more glue on that. And then I used Gorilla Glue and I put the head back on. So the two little screws on the back of that is why the hole is enlarged, just to make sure it doesn't scrape. Because when you screw this back on, you almost can't see daylight between the clown and the backdrop. So if you put it on and we get it tight, and you can hear it cranking now, so I'm going to give it a good crank. And there it is. So after 50 years of sitting in drawers, I'm going to find a good, safe place for this. Sorry, grandkids, this is just too old. It's probably lead-based paint anyway. But yeah, it's got too many small parts. Like I said, the arm is still loose. I'll have to put some glue on it. The head was just glued on. The feet are loose. So that's not something a baby should have. But back in the early 60s, we were tougher, I guess. But no, not really tougher. We just didn't know what we know today. So, but anyway, there it is. And I'm quite happy with it. Like I said, I probably will put a dab of white out. Now, the screws that were on there before were chrome. So they showed just as much as these screws showed. But I did try to wipe down. You can see this was, at one time it got wet. And it's got a little discoloration. And I did clean that off a little bit. And believe it or not, that's much cleaner than it was. I mean, it was almost just dark. Once the glue dries, I did glue the head on. I glued some of the pieces back on. I might try just wiping this down again. I'm afraid, I don't know if you saw Mr. Bean, where he wipes the painting down, it's all nice and clean, and like 5 minutes later it eats into the paint and destroys the painting. I don't want something like that to happen. So I'm going to find a safe place for this. Don't know where. But it's working, and it's together, and it's in one piece. It's not falling apart. It's still able to, you know, screw on. Like I said, it screws up. It doesn't. You'd think it'd want to be done that way, but I remember this at one time being on top of a bookcase. We had a bookcase with scroll work on top, and I believe my mom had this like attached to the scroll work on top. And I bet if we still have that bookcase, it's probably a valuable antique right now. But I bet if I look on the back of the scroll work, I can still see the marks where this was screwed down. But I'm quite pleased. After 50 years of being in a drawer, I can hear Brown's Lullaby again. So I guess this kind of made my day. I did finally clean up the mess and everything. There was sawdust everywhere. Tools everywhere. You'd be surprised how many tools I got out just to do this. But I'm quite pleased with it. I know it's, if it was valuable before, it's probably not now, but it brings back a big chunk of my childhood. So that's it for my clown music box, and I'm going to sign off.